Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Give me a thumbs up, a wave, something. Let me know you can see me and hear me. Let's see who all's in here. We got Arlene, Jeremy, Marianne, Tom, Robin, Katia. Let's see, who else? Deborah, Kathleen. Going through the list, folks. Hi, Pam. Hi, the other Pam. Phyllis, Joanne, Mijo. Wow, we have a crowd. Hi, Janella. Thank you so much, Katia, for that. Hi, Ann. This is awesome. Awesome. Mary Jane. Wow. Full house, full house. So everybody getting toasty in their houses and warm in the houses because it's cold outside. I'm 32 miles from Florida and freezing my behind off. Florida's cold too, trust me. Hi, Arlene. Mwah. Hi, Mavis. Hi, Diane. Oh, it should get up to 17 today. We're going down to 24 tonight. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Janella. Hi, Carol. Almost 90 in the sun. Where are you at, Marianne? I want to be there. Bonjour. Yeah, it's gonna be cold. I'm sorry. If I knew how to set it up for subtitles, I sure would. Yeah, I heard everybody is just freezing. We went south to get away from the cold.
I need my earbuds, sorry.
All right, husband needs his earbuds. Hold on.
I forgot to grab them. My fault.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Teresa. Y'all have to bear with me. I'm just now getting my head screwed on tight. It's been a rough few days. Hi, Fred. You're excited about this hat? Everybody's excited about this hat. This is a new project. Not been done before. Hi, Reba. Glad you can make it. Well, I have some good news and some really good news. Teresa Woods is now out of the hospital. She's doing much better. I want to thank all of y'all for keeping her in your thoughts and prayers, because we know that that works. When we think about people, it makes them better. When we pray about people, it makes them better. Okay, Karen. That is great news. I am so glad she's home. There's nothing any worse than being locked up in a hospital. They don't want to let you go. Especially if you got any kind of insurance. They want to keep you in there. You're welcome, Phyllis. She is a huge, huge advocate for the classes. So when she's down, the whole world just stops. I'm just teasing. But she helps, you know, she does so much for Palmettos, and she does help with the classes. She answers a lot of questions that I don't get to on Facebook too. And you don't know how much I appreciate that. We're trying to stay warm, Melissa. Hi, Debbie. I'm going to give it a few more minutes before we start. Now, everybody understand, this class is not ending today by no means, okay? We're going to walk you through this step by step so you all can learn how to work the older patterns out of the older pattern books. Because if you learn that, you're on the road to be a designer, okay? And that's where Sue's classes come in handy. She's a wealth of information for you guys. Hi, Bev. How many of y'all are planning on Tat Days this year? And hi, Julie. You know, a lot of places closed because of the weather. Oh, you're welcome, Mijo. Very welcome. I do what I can. I'm hoping to get to go. I don't know. My back is still, shall I say, just being irritable. It's preventing me from doing a lot of things I want to do. Bending over is one. With the back brace, you don't bend. It's a solid piece of metal, plastic, whatever. It's something that's in there, but it don't let me bend. I get to take it off when I start getting too hot in it, but then I have to stay seated. That's not fun. So I don't like being strapped down. Feel like I got a leash on me. Yeah, my husband, he works from home and he works for the government, and they closed down their offices because of the weather of the branch that he works in. I know. They say it's really bad. We got the storms, and I never seen it rain sideways. Just saying, never seen rain sideways. I mean, straight sideways until that day. And as I told everybody last week, we're on a pecan farm. Yeah, you don't want to be on a pecan farm in high winds. It sounds like somebody shooting at you. Derby, I can relate. We're sisters with problems. All right. I guess we can go ahead and get started. I got some goodies. Okay. First of all, my first goodie that I am going to share with you guys is something that came in the mail today. Can y'all see that? Let me see. Let me show it here. See this? This is Richard's book. Okay, now on the inside, I'm only going to show you the face page. He signed it. Okay. Now, let me tell you something about this book. We're going to auction it. All right. The way we're going to auction this off, and the proceeds goes towards the classes. The way we are going to auction this little baby off is you all write in a bid. We're going to start the bidding at $10. You write your bid. Okay, it's a silent auction. The highest bidder gets the prize. Okay, we're going to run the auction through till Friday. All right. So with that said, you either post it on Facebook or send it in to the class. And what we need is your name only. The winner I will contact. All right. And I will get your personal information from you to mail it to you. As of Friday, this little baby will be gone to a new home. I want you to enjoy it. On the back, it shows the patterns that he's got in the book. Okay. The front has patterns he's got in the book. All right. So if you're interested, the bidding starts at $10. Put your bids in on the Facebook group or through the class email. Name and amount is all we need. At the end of the day, let's do it this way. Every 4 hours, I will update who the highest bidder is, only by dollar amount. I won't tell you who the highest bidder is until it's won. All right? So there we go. We got that order of business out of the way. Next thing, did you all get your printouts done? This one here. This is Georgia's information on writing patterns, diagramming, and so forth. Okay? This is a bit of information you are going to need to get through this class on this pattern. Okay? So, got that. Next thing, Palmetto's paperwork. This is terms. There's 2 pages. Now, this is not end-all be-all notations, okay? Every designer has their own terms that they use. Hi, Monica. However, okay, that doesn't mean that everybody follows those. So when it's a designer and they have notations, they put their notations in a legend at the top of the book that they've produced or the pattern. Okay, so these are the most common technique terms out there. Palmetto's condensed it. It was like what, 11, 15 pages long. And a lot of it was duplicate. People come out with a technique, and because they do it a little different, they give it a new name. Yeah, that's not making anybody happy. It just gives us more paperwork. So they condensed it down to the most common. Okay? So there you go. Then the last thing is the pattern. Okay? Now, the lady that donated this pattern to the classes, let me get her name here, if I can pronounce it without muddling it, Jan Dunmeyer. Okay? She donated this pattern to Georgia to put in the class files. Okay? Now, Georgia shared with me this book, so I have the actual book. So, yeah, we can share it. It is 1922, but we are rewriting this pattern for today's terms. This pattern is written in terms from 1922, which is way different than what we talk today. We will put shortcuts into this pattern. Different techniques that we use today that weren't even invented back then. Hence the reason for the Palmetto's term sheet. Okay? We need that. We need to know what terms we need to use. Okay? So with that, we are going to take a trip downstairs, but make sure you have your notepad and your pen, okay, so you can make notes. Now, this is just something I got at Walmart, okay? It's lined and everything. Now, this little notepad, when we get through, is going to have all kinds of chicken scratch in here, but it's all important. So when we get to the final piece of the puzzle, we'll have a concise pattern to follow. Okay? And then we can get help with diagramming from well-known letters that will help us get it diagrammed. And then we will have a complete pattern with written instruction and diagram that we can put up on the website. How cool is that? And it will be done by this class. That makes it even spicier. So with that, we're going to go down to the desktop, because the first thing I want to show you that you are going to probably want to use in this pattern is a split chain. So we can go from one round to the next. And the hardest part about this split chain is the split chain. The technique that you use to climb out of a round is usually a split chain into a split ring with a mock picot in between the two. Okay? So we know the split ring. We know the mock picot. Those are beginner techniques. But the split chain can be fiddly. It can be a headache. It can be a pain, because if you don't do it right, you're going to have a loose chain. It's going to be wonky looking. It's not going to be pretty. So we've got to know how to make it. And I want you guys to practice that as we're working the first round of this pattern up in our terms. All right. Once we get, say, 4 rounds, we're going to tat up those 4 rounds. Okay. And then see how it plays. See if our picots match. All of that, because all of that weighs on the final outcome. Now, know that our pattern will look very similar to the original, but it will look different as well, because we're going to be using modern techniques to achieve our goals. Does that make sense to everybody? Give me a thumbs up if it does. Oh, you're welcome, Debbie. Not a problem. Everybody there? There we go. All right, Marianne. Thank you. All right, now I'm going to drop down to the other camera. And there we go. We're down there. Y'all have to ignore the jiggle. Husband's up walking, and this thing is really loose for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, as you can see, we've got last week's sample here. And I left it where we left off for a reason, because I knew we was going to be needing this. Thank you, Katia. Yeah, they are easier to do with a needle than the shuttle. Kathleen, I wouldn't avoid them. Okay, they are an absolute lifesaver. Okay, nothing I hate worse than having to cut and tie. In this old pattern, every round's a cut and tie. There is some places that if you've got to cut and tie, it's going to show. There's no hiding it. So we want to avoid it at all costs on that cut and tie. And this split chain is how you're going to be able to do that. So let me take this in a little closer. You can see we've adjusted the camera and everything. We're getting there. We really are. Now, we want our work reversed, because we're going to do the final chain. So when you're doing the final chain and it's a split chain, okay, then you need the back side of the work. Okay. Mijo, don't worry about it. I will show you the split ring. I will take this all the way to the split ring before I end it, okay? Because we will use these 3 techniques quite often in this pattern. All right? So, let's wrap our hands for a chain, okay? That's just basic over the finger. Keep our tension wrapped, okay? Now, this pattern was 5 picot 5 on this chain. First thing we're going to do is put the first 5 stitches in. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now we got our 5 stitches. Now, in order for us to split that chain and make it work on this side, realize this, unless we're using the same color of thread. If we do our split chain correctly, this half of the chain is going to be in this color. Okay? Because you're going to work from here back to here. So everybody got that? I want to take it very, very slow here because, like I say, This is something you're going to use several places in this pattern. Now, what you want to do is go through right there. The base of that ring and the base of that chain. Where they meet, run your crochet hook. Grab your thread. All right? Pull it up. It can get fiddly, but pull it up. Try not to split your plies. If you do, let go of the crochet hook and work your thread out. Okay? Hook it on your finger. Remember, knuckle to nail. Come up. You want to pull that down to the point. It's almost locked. What you are creating here is a shuttle lock join, or commonly called lock join. All right. Now, I want you to look at this. Let me get that off my finger so you can see what I'm doing here. You see this half of the chain? It looks almost the same length and it puts it center, right? Well, you want to tighten it up just a little more because as you are working it, it's going to stretch because we're working with cotton thread. If you're working with a nylon thread, odds of it stretching is slim to none. You're working with a polyester thread, odds of it stretching is a whole lot more than cotton. Okay? So remember that. Depending on the thread you are using determines how much space you give yourself on this split chain. All right? So, with that said, we're going to pull that down and we're going to lock that stitch. And when you pull it tight, it's locked it in there. Now, the first thing you want to do, take this thread, pull it over as far as you can, bunch those stitches up. So you got plenty of room. Take this thread from this shuttle on the back side, pull it up. When you pull it up, run your shuttle thread. Okay? Now, you're going to walk these stitches on as you go. Okay? Just play with it. Take your time. We're not rushing here. Remember that. It's the same technique that you use when you are wrapping the cabone ring. Okay? And you just keep working your thread down and walking it over. Okay? That's what you got to do is walk it over. And it does take practice, folks. You're not going to learn this overnight. There we go. We got it. We got it. We got it. And you just walk it. Keep walking it until you get it all locked into place. Not locked down, locked into place. Like I said, it can get fiddly. There we go. We got it over. And you just pull your thread tight into the spot. And there we go. After we get it into its spot, its location, then we can pull that back in. And it does take a bit just to get that first stitch in. But once you do, you're golden. I have a video up on this split chain. Watch it for more reference. Watch it. Most of the techniques you learn in this class, you're going to see on video. This red thread just don't like me today. Does it? No. It's just not going to close. There we go. We got it. You see, that first stitch is a doozy. It says, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Once you get it over there, lock it down. Your next stitch you're going to make, you're going to pull it down on the front side, pull it through. Okay? Run your shuttle through. Once you get it pulled through, run that shuttle through it. Okay? Hold your stitches, because if it moves, guess what? We got a problem. Just keep working it. If it twists too much, pull it back out. Split chains are fiddly. Once you get the hang of them, they're not fiddly. I don't do enough split chains, I guess, to worry with. But, like I said, when I work my patterns that I do, I work them all one color, so I don't have this variation in color. All right? Especially if it's a pattern like what we're working here. This is like a granny square. How many of you are? Okay, once you get that first stitch in, you're done with that first stitch. You want to continue until you get 5 stitches on here. So work it until you get your 5 stitches. All right. And see, after you get that first one in, the rest is just cheese and butter, I'll tell you. And this thread is twisty today, I'm telling you. It just says, I'm going to twist up. All right. So I want you to do your 5 stitches. And then once you get here, I want to carry this class on because we don't want to run it short. You want to do a mock picot. Mock picot is first half. You do not flip. Okay. Second half, you flip. That locks it in. Hi, Teresa. Awesome. You're here. This is awesome news, Teresa. Awesome news. I'm so glad you made it. Okay. Once you get your mock picot in, then you're going to wrap your hand for a ring. Okay. So we're going to reverse our work. Wrap our hand for a ring. And I'm just going to do a quick ring here. I'm going to do 5 stitches on this side. All right. That's 5 stitches. Nope. Got one more half to do. That red thread I can't hardly see in here today for some reason. It's cloudy. So I'm not getting the light from outside. Now, the second half of this split ring. Let me get it in camera. I take this blue thread and I start with the second half. Then I drop the shuttle. I made a video and I was doing the split ring and my shuttle got away from me. And I said, well, there goes my flying shuttle. And some guy asked me where he could get a flying shuttle. I just died laughing. All right, we did the second half. Now we want to do the first half and you just walk it over. You're wrapping or encapsulating the core thread. All right. And you want to do 5 stitches on this side. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you drop that shuttle, pick up the red shuttle, and close your ring. Now, as with the split chain, your split ring is going to be 2 different colors as well if you're using 2 colors. Okay, so it's all wrapping, encapsulating. Okay, the only part that is flipping your stitches is your main color thread. That's it. So with that said, let's nip this thing off and then let's get started on our pattern so that we can walk through that pattern and see how we're going to address it with today's terms. Get your notepads. And what I want you to do, first things first, let me come out. First thing I want you to do, decide how you want to write your pattern. Do you want your legend to go in here first so that you have it to relate with. No, you don't have to post your shuttle with the split ring. It does make it easier to open, but a split ring is pretty easy to open. I've not had any troubles. So it's up to you, Julie, if you want to post your shuttle with the split ring or not. It just puts the thread to the back side of that ring. Same thing as with the regular rings. So does that help? Mary, I didn't even see you come in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. So if you're going to put your legend in up here, go ahead and write your legend. Say the ring is an R, the chain is a CH, and so forth, according to the directions you get from Palmettos, because these are the most common directions you're going to see in patterns. Okay. Michelle, you get a crochet hook that goes with the size thread you are using. Okay. Handy Hands carries 10, 20, 40, and 80 size thread in the Elizabeth brand. Those vary. Okay. This one here is a 0.6 millimeter. I got this from Veronica. It works great with a size 10 thread, which I was using. You can get 13, 14, 15, 16. You know, you just have to figure what works best for you, determining what your picot size is going to be, determining how tight you tat, how big your picots are, how big your joins are going to be. All that plays into your crochet hook size. Okay? But you want the steel crochet hooks. You don't want yarn hooks for like crocheting afghans and blankets. You want for thread, and it's the steel crochet hooks. And then just pick your favorites. All right? So, once you pick out what your techniques are in your pattern that you're going to stick with, then you go through here, and these are the ones you're going to write on there. All right. So with that said, let's get into this pattern. Let's see what this first bits of pattern is. Isn't this a gorgeous hat? This hat has been on my bucket list for a very long time. Georgia sent this to me. Oh, Lord. I want to say it's been at least 10 years ago that she sent this to me. I was looking for a sun hat for my mom. And I talked to Georgia about it because my mom liked to be out in the sun, but she couldn't get sun on her. Every time she got out in the sun, we had to go take her and have cancer surgery for melanoma. And so I thought if I got her a sun hat, that would block the sun from getting on her face and stuff. And, you know, she used sunscreen and everything. It's just she was prone to that. Okay. And yes, people can get prone to certain various cancers. Don't think they can't. They can, especially melanoma. If you're out in the sun a lot, you can use sunscreen and stuff. But if you're going to get cancer, that's what you're going to get. It's just a fact of life. And we all live with it. Okay. So know that this isn't going to stop it. It will help. All right. But back to this. Georgia sent it to me. And I looked at it and I showed it to my mom. My mom said, "Oh, I love it." Okay. Well, I did too. You know, I never got to make it for her because she had me doing a lot of other things. I won't tell you what all I had to do, but I had a lot to do for my mom. She couldn't do much for herself. Okay. In the pattern, it calls for a size 50 crochet thread. Now, if you're going to use the actual size of crochet thread that they call for, you're going to have to get a size 50 coordinate thread. Handy Hands carries the DMC. Okay. And the thing of it is, if you get the size, this is going to be a pretty tight fit. Okay. Thank you, Katia. Let's see. And it says 5 balls. Now, if memory serves me, those 50, number 50 crochet threads that they're talking about in here, I think those are 50 gram. Okay. 50 grams goes a long way. Don't think it don't. Now, what that is in yards, don't ask. I'm not a millimeter person. So, but I would suggest do this in a size thread you're comfortable with, because we're going to fit this to your head. Okay. But as you can see, the pattern itself is made up of various motifs. Okay. Look at this hat. You see, we've got this motif here all around the cap. We've got this motif here on the brim, and it's also in the center. Okay. And then we've got rounds here coming off to bring the hat down and around. Okay. So this can be sized to fit you, or they wouldn't have put it out, because not two heads are the same. It depends on how many brains you've got, how big your head is. At least that's what my mom told me. Yeah, I got a small head. I'm teasing, folks. All right. So what we do is we read the first paragraph, and it says 5 balls and number 50 crochet thread was used to make this. Commence at center of crown with a large rose medallion. This is a medallion, a rose medallion right here. This is what they're talking about. Okay. Now, if you will look, right here is where they cut and tied. Right here on this is where we will come out with a mock picot to start our onion ring on this. Yeah, you learned a new word, didn't you? This is an onion ring. You see how it looks like an onion? That's what this is. So it says as follows: 1, a ring of 1 double knot. That means double stitch, a picot, 2 double knots, a picot 5 times, then 1 double knot, close and tie. Hi, Sue. All right. Then you cut the thread. We're not going to cut it, but we are going to follow their directions. All right. And where this double knot or this single knot is, we've got the one at the beginning and the one at the end is right here. Okay. And they've got 2 double knots between each spoke of this wheel. When they come out here, they ended up with a double knot here and a double knot here with the spoke coming out between them. All right. Do we want to do that? Not necessarily. We want 2 double knots between each spoke. So that will be our change on this pattern, the first change. So instead of 1 double knot, we're going to do 2 double knots, and we're going to do it until we get 5 spokes in. When we close that ring on the 6th spoke, that spoke's going to be a mock picot. It's going to come out for our onion ring. Everybody got that? So let's try that. I'm going to do it just using thread. All right. Move it over here, and we're going to walk it out and see if it works. This is where a true designer uses a lot of thread. Now, I had a question come across the video channel that said, do I, on a design, do I use the expensive thread or should I use something cheap? Now, that is all up to the person that's doing the design. Myself, I believe in designing with the thread I'm going to use to create with. All right. So if we're going to design this, then I would use Elizabeth thread because that's what the final product's going to be from. But that's my choice. Okay. Your choice may be use the cheaper thread. Okay. If you're going to use the cheaper thread, know that it has a little more give. It's a little stretchier. Okay. It's not going to be as brisk or as tight as your tatting thread, but you can still get the gist of the pattern. So let's go. Now we've got a tail we got to hide here because guess what? We had 2 different colors of thread. So what we're going to do is hide this tail in our tatting. If I can get it to cooperate here. This red thread just doesn't like me. Don't know why. I didn't hurt its feelings today. I hope. Yes, we are going to have class tonight at 8 o'clock. We're going to pick up where we left off. Okay, it'll be a continuation. Now, once I get a 1.5 stitches, I'm going to, because I tied the knot in there. So just snip that puppy off right dead center of that stitch. Never, ever, ever do you cut your thread off in the middle of a picot. Okay? Why? Because it will work its way out, and then you've got a picot with a thread. And picots aren't supposed to have thread in the middle. I'm just saying. Now, here is where you grab your picot gauges. And trust me, folks, when you're designing, Sue will vouch for this. When you're designing and you've got to use a picot gauge, please state which picot gauge you used, which type of picot gauge you used, okay, and the size. If you use a Russian picot gauge like this thing goes from very tiny all the way to very big. I don't know what the measurement is on that. So you will have to measure it to see what it is. Whereas if you use a measured picot, see, these are clover picot gauges. They're numbered. You can say, I used a number 10 picot. Okay? And you can say it was a clover picot gauge. It would go in your legend. Okay? You take the guesswork out of the people tatting your patterns. All right? Now, you pick which picot you're going to use. Do you want a little one? Do you want a big one? Your choice. But because this is an onion ring, this is where you'd want your picots to be very small because you do not want those onion rings on the pattern to be wonky. Your first picots on the original ring has spokes. If you look at the pattern, it has spokes. You see it? And these spokes are picots. So you want the spokes to show. But when you get into your onion ring, you want that to be a very small picot. Hi, River. So let's do this thing. Now, what I'm going to do, because I don't like a really spoke, I'm going to 3, if I can pick it up, picot. Okay? And I'm going to mark it just like that. And I'm going to put my next 2 stitches in. Pull it out. I got my first spoke. Do I like that spoke? Is that spoke big enough? Does it show? Okay. Monica, can you use a bigger thread, size 10, and how many yards? Okay, Monica, first of all, yes, you can use a size 10 thread because that's what I'm using. Number 2, I don't know how many yards we're designing it. So if you want to acclimate yourself with how many yards it's going to take when you first tat your samples as you go, Okay. Then you can measure your thread. Hi, Debbie. So back to this picot. I don't like that picot. It's awfully small. So here's where you adjust. Okay. You walk that stitch back out. This is Designer Dilemma 1. Okay. When you do this, you have a lot of ripping out, a lot of putting in. But once you're done, you've got a finished result that suits your eye. And if you do it properly, it will suit many people's eyes. All right. So we're back here to this picot. I didn't like that picot. To me, it just was too small. So let's step up in size. Let's go. Let's see. We did, what was it? We did a 3 or a 5. I think we did the 5. Let's go to a 7. See, if I wasn't talking, I know what the last one was. That's okay, Nancy. You're right on time. All right, now we're going to put a picot in. This one looks to be like it's going to be much better for that spoke because it's going to lay out there. See, there it is. And we're going to put our second double stitch in. I'm going to bring this up instead of popping in and out on that camera. You see, that is a much better looking spoke. Don't you agree? So let's continue on and put 5 spokes on here. Hi, Carol. All right, we got 2. Open that ring up. And I got to drop it to get that twist out. Elizabeth thread twist. The darker colors twist more than the lighter colors. Have y'all found that out? That the darker the color, the more the twist. I don't understand that. Oh, well. Live and learn, right? Live and learn. Now, I could take these off of this little thing, but you know what's going to happen if I do. I'm going to lose my picots. That's a fact. Okay, Marianne, we'll catch you tonight. All right, now we got 4. This is number 5. We want to make sure we get our 2 picots in. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 picots. We got our last 2 double stitches. Now, we put this here and start our imaginary picot. Okay? Our imaginary picot. What is that? That is our mock picot. It's not really a picot. We will use the picot gauge, but it's not really a picot. Now, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to close that ring up so we can do our imaginary picot. It looks like a picot, but it's really not a picot. Okay, now we got our 5. Now, here's what we're going to do. Going to rotate that over, reverse our work. We're going to put our picot gauge in here. And we are going to put our lock stitch in. Okay. We're going to wrap that thread into there. Because we've got a tail, we're going to put our lock stitch in second. All right. Sorry, I got off camera. All right. Now, we've got the first half, the second half, we just draw it over. Once you draw it over, you want to get that thread trapped. Bring it in, bring it in. Get in there. Little turkey. Walk it over. Do not flip that stitch or it will not lock. Okay? Pull that out and we have our little mock picot. Right there. Okay, but do you see? That pico's much bigger than the other ones, isn't it? It is twice the size of these. So our mistake was we should have backed up to the next size down, which would have been the 5. Why? Because it would have given us the same sized picot, because the 7 is 1 time bigger than the 5. By using the picot gauge this way, it was bigger. So we'd have to take it out. And that's what you do. That's what every bit of this pattern designing with the old patterns is, trial and error. So you grab your thread, you pull it down. I like to gauge by sight on mine when I'm writing the patterns. Okay, then come in, and I'm not fighting that picot gauge. And yes, that's okay. Sight it. You don't have to measure. Just get it close to the same size as the other picots. And that's your picot gauge. All right. Doesn't that look better? It matches. All right. Now we go into our onion ring. Lay that down. And we want to write our notes. Pick up our notepad. What did we just do? We used a clover shuttle, or clover picot number 7. Did our 5 picots with 2 double stitches between. So it's 2 double stitches, a picot, 5 times 2 double stitches. Okay? Write it in shorthand, however you want to write it, as long as you stick to the standards. And the standards are in Georgia's notes. Okay? And that's how you write it. There's 3 ways you can write a pattern. There's probably 10 ways that people write patterns, but there's 3 ways you can write patterns that we discuss in the class. And if you go through Georgia's notes, it will show you exactly. Okay? Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to see tonight, until class tonight, what can you do with this first step? What are the varieties of this first center ring that you can do? And how can you write it? Yes, tonight will be recorded too. I record all the classes. Okay. Let's see. Questions. Mijo, you've never used 2 shuttles. You've only used a shuttle and a ball. Well, the difference between 2 shuttles and a shuttle and a ball is one's a ball and one's a shuttle. That's it. If you use 2 shuttles, if I didn't have the blue thread attached, it would be attached to a ball. Do you see? Y'all got that? If your shuttle is not attached to the other shuttle, it's attached to the ball. Shuttle 2 is always either the ball or another shuttle. So in reality, using 2 shuttles, the only difference is one's a shuttle and one's a ball. There's nothing else to it. Right, you don't have to reattach. But the thing of it is, Mijo, when you get further into your pattern, you're going to wish you had the second shuttle. Especially when you get into the split chain part or the split ring. It takes 2 shuttles for that. All right? You got to have 2 shuttles when you get into split anything. If you get into dead end chains, that's something down the road, you need 2 shuttles. Because we're going to be going, all right, Karen's saying, why am I using 2 shuttles in this case? When we get to this mock picot, you got to have 2 shuttles in order to go straight into your onion ring. Otherwise, you got to cut and tie a knot there, and then we've got 2 tails here we've got to hide. Yes, I did. Just answer your question. All right, is there any more questions? If not, here's what I want you to do. I just want you to work this section right here, this first section, in any size thread you're comfortable with. And I want you to show me another way you can do this. Try it the way they say to do it. See what it looks like. Get your results. All right? If you've got questions, I can answer them. Sue can answer them. Sue's better at designing than me. Sue can answer them. I'm not a designer. I won't lie to you. I'm not a designer. But I have worked many of these older patterns that I have fell in love with. And the wording is what confuses you. Right. Is there any question for needle? We've got many, many needle tatters in class. All I can do, folks, if you're a needle tatter, is take you through the basics. The results of the Helix contest, I wrote Richard this morning. He's supposed to get back with me, but he's at work right now. He'll probably get back with me before tonight, fellas, and I will have the results tonight. Nancy, the pattern is up on the website, and I sent it also in last week email. If you go to the website, Pam, can you get that for me off the website and post it here in the class and let them have it? Thank you, Teresa. But yes, that is a good thought, continuous thread. I just had these two shuttles, folks. Okay, I will redo this and not have to fight these ends tonight. You will have one colored thread. It's just what happened to be with this little doohickey. Thank you, Fred. Thank you. Yes, review the mock stitch for video for needle tatters. It should be up there. I've got so many videos now. We've surpassed 200 videos. I cannot tell you how many videos are up. I know that I've got to go through my videos, and there are some I have got to get put up for lefties. Okay? Oh, yeah. The extra large shuttles that you'd like to have are called Tatsies. You can get those at Handy Hands, and they're huge. I've got a Tatsie. I'll get it. Show it to you. This is the largest shuttle you can get. You see that? And it's called a Tatsie. That will hold an entire ball of Elizabeth thread. Okay? All right, let me switch cameras. So tonight, what you're going to do is work just that first paragraph in. Okay? And you're going to work it out. Do continuous thread. Don't fight with your ends like I had to. I don't like fighting with the ends. I can relate, Julie. I can relate. I have them on hand because when I work with size 3 crochet cotton, yeah, this is the shuttle for that. Yeah, starlights are also large, but you know you can only get half a ball of size 10 on a starlight. Yes, Handy Hands carries these. They also carry the starlights. They carry all the brands. All right, Mijo buys from the USA. All right, Mijo, go to Handy Hands and you want a Tatsie. Okay, you can see the name says Tatsie. Let me bring it up. Well, wrong camera. Let me bring it up. You see that? Can you see that? I get confused on my cameras. It says Tatsie across it. It's Tatsy. And they come in red, blue, clear. I don't know if they have the yellow still or not. I haven't seen one in a while. Suggested length for continuous thread. You'd wind one shuttle. And the way I do it, wind one shuttle. Then I wrap my thread around the shuttle that I'm just wound. Okay. And I wind off enough that it looks like it'll match. You see what I'm saying? And then I pick my second shuttle up and I wind it with the thread that I just wound on the first shuttle. I've got a video on that. Everything is technique or helpful hints. I have a video on, more than likely. I tried to hit everything, and then Georgia sent me a laundry list of things she wanted me to make videos on too. Pam, she couldn't find it. It's under projects. Let me see if I can get it. Give me a second, folks. All right, here we go. I'm going to post it right here. All right, Mary, what you want to do is change the written direction of it. We're going by the old terms. We want to update. We want to bring it to the future. Try it the way that they say with the one. All right, they started with one double knot, which is a double stitch, a picot, two double knots, a picot 5 times, and then a double knot. So they're putting a picot in between the double knots on that first and last one. So think about that and try it. Oh, Mijo, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you, Fred. Thank you. You're welcome, Nancy. Okay, folks, I got to do some housekeeping here. If you feel like this class is worth your time and your trouble and you're learning something, you can give super chats, super stickers, super thanks, super everythings. Okay, and that helps with the cost of the classes. Also, what you can do is go to our website, hit the donate button, and donate. If you are financially strapped and you cannot let the commercials run, we do make money off of those. Every penny counts, and it goes towards the classes. I'll be getting the shop going. Dennis is working on it, but he's gotten slam dunk with some new updates with his job. So, yeah, it's kind of hard on him, too. But he's working on getting the site shop open. Thank you very much, Mary. And when he does, all the proceeds from that will go to the class fund. Now, out of that class fund, we pay for the website. We pay for the StreamYard. We pay for the software to work all the stuff we do. We also pay for the camera equipment and things like that. We're saving pennies to get Pam a computer. But what also comes out of that is gift cards for the challenges. And those gift cards are based on the challenge you get. The challenge that just ended is a $25 gift card to Handy Hands to the winner. And hey, that's pretty cool, let me tell you. So, with that said, 8 p.m. tonight, we will pick up where we left off. We'll discuss this first phase of this class. You still didn't get it. Nancy, are you using Chrome? If you're using Chrome, it has an issue with the PDFs for some reason. It's the last update Chrome did, because I had problems getting it, and Dennis had to work on some kind of a setting in Chrome. It did not like the PDF. I don't know why. So Pam, can you email that to her, the pattern itself? Not the link, because if the link's not going to change the fact that she can't get it. She needs the pattern. If not, I'll do it, Nancy. If she can't. I'm pretty sure she'll get to it. So, are there any questions till 8 o'clock? You're very welcome. You're very welcome, Mijo. No, it's not group projects, is it? It's under patterns, class projects. Scroll down to Tatted Hat project. The problem is it's not opening correctly. Yeah, you're right, Teresa. Adobe doesn't like any of our patterns. What happened was is Chrome updated recently, okay? And if you've got Windows 11, they're clashing or something. I don't understand the Greek, okay? Dennis is my tech. He's in there working. But Nancy, I will send you the pattern. I will copy and paste it into an email. That way you can print it out, hon. Julie, did your email go to spam? That's another problem we are having. Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for coming. Oh, it's not a problem. Not a problem at all, Katia. I don't mind this. I have a ball with you guys. You too, Teresa. Oh, by the way, Teresa, I got news for you. Both of the Teresas are losing weight. Guess who's finding it? Yours truly. Oh, Nancy, it's not a problem. You don't worry about it. All right, Teresa. Thanks. Thanks for coming. You have a good day. All right, Nancy, I will send you the actual pattern. Okay, Julie received the email, but the link to the pattern wasn't in there. Now, that is weird. All kinds of weird stuff. Julie, I'll send it to. I know, Mavis, I know. That part is Teresa's in Montana. Teresa Woods is in Montana. Teresa Oren's in South Carolina, and I'm in Georgia, so. Okay. All right. No, the email today, I didn't put the pattern in there. I can send it to you, Julie. Not a problem. It's not a problem, folks. You found it on Facebook. Okay, good. Nancy, are you on Facebook? I don't know. If you are, it's on Facebook. Pam's got it pinned at the top. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could fall for that. Actually, with this brace, I think I gained 10 pounds with the brace. It feels like it. It sort of kind of shoves everything. What I sit down. Okay, Nancy, I'll mail it to you, sweetie. All right. You all practice what you learned on that split chain because you're going to need it. It's coming up. Okay. Thank you, Reva. And I will see you guys tonight, 8 p.m., same channel, whole 9 yards. I will send out an email with the new link. Okay. And that's all it will be. There won't be any new downloads or anything. We're sticking with the same downloads you got this morning. All right. Okay. Monica, I'll send it to you. You're welcome. You're welcome. So until 8 o'clock, y'all have a wonderful afternoon. I got to go cook supper for Hubs so that he can eat and I can eat and we can have class tonight. So until then, May all your threads make beautiful lace. Happy tatting, everybody. And we'll see you later. All right. Bye-bye.